Yeah, I pressed it already.
Well, it's still almost 7:30.
Hmm?
What you talking about, Raheem? I'm gonna notice it. Don't worry.
Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you, as we always do. Hyena, happy, elephant, lady, and porcupine proud to be here with you on this morning. This is the first day of Black History Month. This is February 1, Black History Month. So, everybody strap your seatbelt in. We're going to get some folks to come in and going to talk about some things about Black History Month on this month, and we're going to extend it because I don't understand why we got to have just 1 month. History is every day. History don't just does not just stick in 1 month in time. So we're going to make sure that we extend it. Now this is what they call Black History Month. We're going to extend that thing March, April, May, June, December, whatever it is. Captain Leonard, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem, and the Morning Glow family.
Good deal, good deal. Goddess, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, everybody in the Morning Girl family.
Good. Leonard, she's singing this morning, boy. She in a good mood. She's singing this morning. God Almighty. Badger, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, beautiful fam.
Man, I thought you was about to sing, so I was gonna say, oh Lord, we we done extended ourselves today. If Badger would have started singing this morning as well, we would have had a situation. Listen, Leonard, I got a question.
Hakuna Matata, that's about it.
What is that, sir?
I need to understand. I need understanding on something. And everybody, we all gonna talk about this, but I'm going to Leonard first with it. Leonard, what kind of fracking Nakaboa mess? And I got to clean my tongue up. Kind of fracking Nakaboa mess was the gentleman in the Aubrey case. They tried to get it. They tried to get some kind of plea yesterday, and almost went through. They tried to get some kind of plea where the first 30. They said the first 30 years will be served in federal penitentiary. What kind of mess was that, Leonard? What did you
Well,
hear?
for the people that really don't understand it, there's a difference between federal. Well, some I've never been in a prison.
Mm-hmm.
How about you've worked in the prison?
Yes.
And that federal prison and state prison are supposedly two very different types of environments.
Night and day.
State prison deals with people more like you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you
Mm-hmm.
from, that you might be acquainted with, that you may have ran into, that you
Mm-hmm.
may know. Whereas federal increases that general population of people from all over places, common for transfers and things of that nature. Just a different level of government, much
Mm-hmm.
higher, much higher funded, more likely to be held accountable, actually, too,
Mm-hmm.
than a state prison would be.
Mm-hmm.
So if you notice right now, we had an issue here in prisons that caused a complete lockdown of
Mm-hmm.
prisons across the nation with the murders in Texas, I believe.
Exactly. Exactly.
So a issue in a federal prison may trigger other federal prisons to do something
Mm-hmm.
and try to follow the same script and the same rules. More concerned about equity, I would say, and
Mm-hmm.
treatment. Whereas states' rules pretty much just like if you was to go to prison in Louisiana back in the 60s, that's a lot different than going to federal prison.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Because
sir.
the state of Louisiana may treat you a different way than the state of
Mm-hmm.
Connecticut or some other state prison.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't want to be in the quote lesser of prisons, I guess.
Mm.
They,
Wow.
they're going to need a little bit more oversight or protection, should we say, maybe?
Mm-hmm. They
So that's why they want to go to federal prison.
they want privilege.
Am I being correct? They want
Yes,
them
absolutely.
privilege. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they
I
want
just wanted to
privilege.
make sure
Yeah.
they want that
Mm-hmm.
privilege. Now, prison is prison,
Mm-hmm.
but I've heard and dealt with people in state prisons that are treated very
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
discrimination
Mm-hmm.
in state prison.
And you have more likelihood and nothing against the state prison. Like I said, I worked in one for 10 years, so I know a lot of the things that go on in there. You have more of a likelihood of being assaulted
Right.
in in many different ways.
Right.
And I put it out there like that, in many different ways in a state prison than you would in a federal prison. You have
Right.
there's a likelihood of you being assaulted, and you let your mind go where your mind go. The likelihood of you being assaulted is much more higher, much greater in a state penitentiary than it is in a federal penitentiary.
And it's the same reason why our people really wanted to, the African Americans really wanted to get away from states' rights.
Mm-hmm.
Because, of course, there were states that were trying to secede from the Union, that was anti union, that were
Yeah.
pro slavery states.
Mm-hmm.
These states treated you differently.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't hold no one rule, no one equality, no one equity for people. They did things the way they wanted to, how
Yeah.
they wanted to,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of some of your rights that may or may not have been guaranteed by the federal government.
Mm-hmm.
Quote Jim Crow.
Jim Crow, exactly. And so for them to even try something like, I mean, they tried it. They tried it. they put the paperwork in and everything. They really tried it. The first 30 years of their sentence, of their life sentence, they said they wanted the next 30 years, if they're gonna be in prison, put them in a federal penitentiary.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then they have all the luxuries that comes along with the federal penitentiary.
Remember, a federal government fights for equality of citizens more so than a state government.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Tell us what you think about what was attempted. What was attempted yesterday, whereas they tried to get their first 30 years of incarceration instead of a state penitentiary in a federal penitentiary. What do you think? What do you think was really going on? What was it in the background? What was in the background of that? God, is what's on your heart, sis? Why do you think they try to get in a federal instead of a state?
I think also because if I'm not mistaken, wasn't the older guy? No, I didn't. I'm just assuming because I didn't get a chance to watch what went on. But one of the guys was a actual police officer, if I wasn't mistaken.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so by him being an actual police officer, and with his the way he handled himself and his personality, shall I say,
Mm-hmm.
disorder, his personality disorder, his racism, or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's people already serving time in the state because of him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
He's really gonna have to he's probably worried about that. He's getting ready to go face some of his wrongs.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He don't want to. He don't want to go against the hate crime.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because up against the hate crime, he loses because he's already admitted that why he did what he did, what they did, and it's
Mm-hmm.
very closely related to race.
Mm-hmm.
So one, they're trying to get away from actual hate crimes trial.
Yeah. Yeah. They're trying to get it so they're not held accountable for that, or they're not tried for the hate crime, and that would have negated that had they done it that way. And so
But
they're
that's what
trying.
people don't understand. Now they're guilty of the murder and that type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
However, there's an associated hate crime,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
which you can get time for as well.
Exactly.
So they really were trying to avoid that. But see, they already have an admission that that's the reason why they did it. So I doubt if they would escape. I don't think any judge that is not borderline KKK would agree,
Mm-hmm.
because that would be
Exactly.
very suspect to have such a confession of hatred based on race to
Mm-hmm.
remove that particular charge.
Yeah. Yeah. And just like you said, they really can't. Just to be, if you're going for the justice, if you're going for what we say is the justice system here in America, you have to deal with everything that's on the table, and they're trying to take certain elements off the table, and it is very much unfair. It's very much
And
unfair.
also, we have to remember that one, yes, we fought for a lot of hate crimes, but many states and things like that, and the federal government hasn't been a whole lot, helpful as well. But
Mhm.
if the hate crime is there, you got to use it.
Yeah,
You
and
got to
all the
use it.
elements are there, and all the elements are there. All
And
the
this was one
elements.
of the major complaints
Yes, sir.
with African Americans during the election time
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
that particular difference.
Mm-hmm.
And that particular difference as it relates to what do you get? Well, the Asian Americans got this, and what they're talking about is they got recognized for creating laws that specifically would charge people for race-based crime.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we have to see that used appropriately,
Exactly.
not
Exactly.
just for Asians or gay people, but for
Mm-hmm.
African Americans.
Across the
We the
board.
one that fought for the freaking law.
Mm-hmm. And now, now they don't want us to use it. We
But
got a
these prosecutors don't want to use it a lot of
mm-hmm.
times for some reason. And they're easy to say, okay, we tack it on. You could possibly be that, and then use it as some type of ploy for a bargain, and then want to drop the hate crime.
Exactly. Wow. Wow.
Wow.
We got a few people on the phone lines. We're going to come to you in just 1 second. But right now, I want to go to Badger. Badger, what do you think about this, man? They're actually trying to negate. They're trying to negate the first, not negate it because they have to do the time, but they want to do their first 30 years in a federal penitentiary in comparison to doing it in a state penitentiary. What do you say to that?
And if you do a federal crime, you go to federal prison.
Mm-hmm.
If you do a local crime, you're going to a state prison.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Serve your time and shut up.
Wow. Cut and dry. Cut and dry. Let me
I
go
mean, if
to
they're wanting to do something stupid, then they know what the laws are. You can't be
mm-hmm.
that dumb. Then
Mm-hmm.
again, we do live in America, so
And I'm telling what you get, right? Let me go to
yeah.
the phone lines. And the phone lines are open 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We love to hear from you. Curtis, good morning. How you doing this morning? Toya, with the T, you up next.
Morning, y'all. Morning. What's going on, Kevin?
Hey, we talking about this situation, man. The gentleman, I say gentleman, that killed Aubrey. They put a petition in. They wanted to get a plea, and a part of that plea was they wanted to do their first 30 years in a federal prison in comparison to a state prison. And Curtis, you know the difference between the two. Why do you think they were trying to do that? Come on, brother.
When you got to spend the rest of your life in jail, you want to try and spend it as comfortable as you possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only excuse I can give you. I think there's a bigger picture here that I think a lot of us are not paying no attention to. And certain parties have certain leaders that are so maladaptive in their behavior and so reckless in their words that they telling us what their plan is and what they're going to do prior to them doing it. But we so busy, caught up in, I don't even want to say the rest, but we don't even see it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you pay attention to what's going on with this elections crap and changing the power structure over the voters registration and casting out folks' votes because they don't think that they was legal. If you pay attention to all of that foolishness, right? These are the same people that are betting for higher office. So I'm curious, how are we gonna feel when all three of those dudes sentences get commuted and they get pardoned.
That's gonna be. I think that's gonna be the uproar that they're looking for. That could very well be the uproar that they're looking for.
And also, that's currently in the news. I've read articles and things of that nature related to comments made by your former president.
Mm-hmm.
He'll pretty much pardon anybody.
Yeah, he's talking about pardoning the people from January the 6th.
January the 6th, he'll go in and he'll pardon every racist killer he can as well, and things like that to show his solidarity to the white supremacist movement. Because those are the majority of his voters, and he will promise them that if elected. This man has already done things to build his own military. He tried to do it right under the eyes of American people, to completely take control of the military solely by the executive branch. That was part of this new revelation of this particular drafted executive order that would give the executive branch, meaning the president, the power to control the U.S. military without the legislature being involved, and to seize voting boxes, overturn elections in states where he didn't win. All sorts of things that are really headed down to a dictatorship type of government. So this ain't no game. If these Republicans are about this type of business, you can't vote for them. You shouldn't vote for them because they are against your democracy. It's not about a party anymore. These people are actually against your democracy.
Wow. To you with a T, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Morning, good morning. How you doing?
Hey, doing good. Since I was jumping at the bits and wanted to hear what you had to say about this whole situation. What are you hearing in this Ahmaud Arbery's whole thing, man? They're trying to get their they can't get the sentence returned away, but they have to do their time. But they want to be so comfortable in a federal penitentiary for the first 30 years of their sentence. They want to do it in the federal penitentiary now. It was rejected, but they tried, Toya. They tried. What do you hear when you hear that?
I mean, that's what racist crackers do. I mean, that's the expectation. Because you got to keep in mind, them some old. I'm gonna try to behave myself. Let me stop. I'm not gonna call them crackers.
Yeah, I'll gonna say we ain't gonna do that now. We ain't gonna do that. Go ahead.
Older Caucasian folks from that era to where that's what that older one. That's what he used to. See, he came from that era. Let me just throw this out there: the 40s, 50s, and 60s. I just saw a special the other day where they still, had slavery camps and plantations and all that too. Even to the 90s, my sister worked on plantations, so I know it's true. But there's some mentality they used to. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna kill me at N-word. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna go. I'm not gonna get the back amount of time. That's the mindset that they used to. So of course, just the history of where they come from, the expectation is that we're in control. We're running it. We've been running it like this. We've been doing it like this, and nothing's gonna happen, right? But see, the thing about the devil is, everybody don't think that you not real. We know you're real, right? And some people are becoming woke now. So this is not that era no more. And it's like they can't believe it. Like the whole January 6th thing. That's their mentality. That's what they're used to. They're used to doing things like that. The whole supposed lie that they live of superiority. That's what they're used to. So now they're out their element now because things are actually being done about it. People are actually like, hey, now you can't do that, and you got to be upheld by the law too. And I think that's where we lose the momentum because they're seeing now that you have to maintain the same law that We all do. Y'all done had a 40, 50 year head start. Now,
Mm-hmm.
you something to be held accountable for some of these things. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, in my opinion, a little bit of accountability. They still ain't scared yet because they still out here killing folks. You see how them police went there and shot that boy laying sleep on his couch? Wrong place. Did you see that?
Mm-mm.
So don't come over here getting me all distracted about some fools that done killed somebody that y'all still don't want to put in jail. Put him wherever you want to. Get him the hell up off these streets. Oh, excuse me. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
my bad. I apologize. Get them up off these streets.
Mm-hmm.
But meanwhile, you know they still killing us.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Listen. It is what it is. You know, at this point, can't nobody go do nothing to mine because I'm going to jail too because ain't nothing gonna get done.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes it don't be worth it. But let me tell you something. I-242 show sound good. Please come up and run up on one of mine. I'm telling you, I'm coming after the whole generation. Because it's like we still don't get it in America. We still take it for a joke, man. And sometimes enough is enough, man. So long as they are off these streets, I'm cool with that. Long as they're not trying to point at nobody, long as they're trying to not overlook what's still going on and feel like, oh yeah, well we locked up Ahmaud Arbery's killers. What more justice do you want? You know what I'm saying? Like that's my big fear on what's going on. Right? Don't take your eye off of all of the other multitude of things and feel like we should be grateful with your little crumbs of justice, like we used to be grateful with the little chitlins outside the pig, man. I mean, I feel like this is the same mentality. So, you know, hey, once they go to jail, that's part one. But the next thing we need to really focus on is people in law enforcement. You don't get to kill nobody and get away with it, period. You need to be getting your butt electrocuted and shock juice too. Like seriously, because it's just getting out of control and we're making up excuses after excuses on why some of these deaths are cool or okay, or you know, the sentences are lighter. But no, we need to be focusing on these police officers too. If you thought you're a security guard, if you think you're a police officer, and you get caught out there doing something, murdering somebody, maliciously with no weapon, you know what I'm saying, out of your place, you gotta go. You know what I'm saying? So I'm cool, but long as they don't get out of jail.
Exactly.
Hey, Raheem,
Yes, sir.
it's funny she mentioned that yesterday we was talking, I believe it was, and somebody mentioned
Leonard, you muted.
the fake vaccine cards.
Yes.
Have you read the remains of the news story?
No, what else is going on? I know somebody said something about a nurse. I think Badger was saying a nurse made over $1 million or something like that selling them, but something else went on.
That's what makes it stupid to begin with.
They put it all on the nurse, you did. But her investigation shows that she wasn't in it by herself. She made over $1.5 million.
Wow.
So how about they investigating? It takes them to this guy's house. Guess what? He NYPD. He found over $9,000 stuffed in helmets. He was helping her sell the fake cards.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, to be honest with you, man, we living in the world. I remember the 99% movement, the 1% movement.
The 1%, yeah.
The 1% movement.
Yeah.
The 99% movement. I remember that movement. All right, I got a college colleague of mine whose father is a mover and shaker up in New York. They're a family that wrote a whole bunch of they used grandmama recipes. They made like recipe books and stuff like that, and they became prominent, right? Do you know, if you remember when the 99% movement first started, there was no real police out there. They was just out there just solely to realistically do their job, protect and serve. It's a peaceful rally, you know, that ain't cool. Then all of a sudden they start hitting these people with pepper spray and batoning them and this, that, and the third. Do you know that over $15 million was donated to the NYPD?
Wow.
It came up to be I think they said $42 million that was donated to the NYPD from these major companies up there to move those people, to lock those people up. Man, what we saying, man, is we seeing I don't even want to call it an oligarch. We're seeing the I guess you can call it the caste system at its finest, because the ones in power, you, me, and Toya don't have enough money to go and give the police district money and say, look, we're going to donate this money so that y'all can better police our communities and protect our communities.
Mm-hmm.
Man, these rich folk is paying for the entitlement or paying for the privilege of having a police department that does whatever they tell them to do. If you look at what Trump did, now I'm not going to take a lot of time, but if you look at what Trump did, I keep saying it. He's following Hitler's playbook.
Mm-hmm.
Hitler's whole purpose was to not only gain control of the military, but to gain control of the police department. Why? Because the police department is what the people see every single day. We don't see the military every day. Every time we see the military is if it's a big deployment, or maybe it's the first of the month and the National Guard and reserves got drilled. You might see them driving to their drill or in the store, something like that. Other than that, you don't see the military.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you get control of the people? How do you create the fear in the people? You get control of the police department. All this, I was going to say eminent domain. It ain't eminent domain. What is it called, Leonard, that they got? That immunity that's in the
diplomatic immunity.
That's in, huh?
Qualified immunity. Qualified immunity.
Qualified immunity. Why is that there, bro?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me why that's there. Tell me, make me understand. If you're an officer of the law, which means you should know the law more than anybody that's there.
Should.
Why you have the same thing that is considered diplomatic immunity for crimes? Why do you have that?
Mm-hmm.
Why did they give you that?
Mm-hmm.
Why? If you think in terms of devilish moves, I gave you qualified immunity so that I can control you. So that when you get out of order and you do something against the law, guess what? I can always come back to you and say, all right now, bro, tighten up. Because if you don't, here you go. Look at that paperwork right there. We're going to send you to jail for a long time. We're going to make sure that you get around all them brothers that you mistreated and sent to jail.
Exactly.
We're going to put you in general pop GP.
Mm-hmm.
General population.
Mm-hmm. And you know what that means.
I'm just
yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me go back to Leonard. You still with us? Leonard, you there? Leonard, if you're there, you're muted, brother. If you're there, you're muted. Badger, what's on your heart?
You know, a lot of this stuff is what I've been hitting on for a while. You know, it's we live in a corporate America. You know, so like to make sure laws are made that's for the betterment of the whole, we need to figure out who's getting paid.
Mm-hmm. Follow the money. Yep.
Which, if you know what websites to go to, you can see who's being funded by who. You know, one thing I always found fascinating when it comes to Trump is how that man stayed in the money. He's went bankrupt multiple times and all kinds of stuff. You know, so I guess in a way he's lived the American dream.
Mm-hmm.
You know, deciding to do what he wants when he wants and had plenty of money to have his own airplane and all kinds of things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So people that have, that are lower on the income bracket, I could see why someone would look up to him.
Mm-hmm.
Because no matter what happens to him, he's able to figure it out. However, the disturbing part is how much he has shown how corrupt our government is.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow.
Plus, and that's if you're actually paying attention. I mean, I still find it funny that people think president has power. I find that absolutely hilarious.
Mm.
President hasn't had power since probably Reagan. No, actually, Reagan probably did what he was told to do too. So, I mean, to me, just about everyone up there at that White House is getting paid by somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So, are they really making the bills, or are the corporations that are funding them making the bills? And if
Mm-hmm.
that's the case, I wonder why it's hard to go to green energy, like some other places have been going into. Oh
Mm-hmm.
wait, that's right. Solar power actually hurts the environment somehow. So does wind turbines and all this other stuff. So that would actually hurt our economy, not help our economy. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Let me go to Goddess. United States of America. The United States of America. Factual, or is that a make believe?
Uh, United States of America is lost its reign within its 100 years, believe it or not, under England. So that's why the New World Order is in circulation. That's why they're trying to come up with the New World Order. Um, that's what my understanding is. I don't know the detail part of it. Maybe someone can explain it to you a little bit
Mm-hmm.
better. But we have never been united at all. It was more of a corporation that was built uh, for control, and we were shadow. Um, so there was never anything united about it.
Mm-hmm. And Toya, if dealing with from that aspect, United States of America, land of the free, home of the brave, and all that. How did they put us into that whole equation as African American, Black people, whatever the verbiage people want to use? But how was we tied into that at all, or were we?
But they were united against us.
Mm.
You have to be united to help an elaborate plan like slavery, the ones that we went through. You had to be united in
Mm-hmm.
order to pull something like that off for 400 years. Could be separated states of America. It couldn't be divided states
Mm-hmm.
of America.
Come on.
That's not what they could do.
Mm-hmm.
So in order for them to be in the position they were in, they had to be united all on one. See, that's the thing that we be missing as Black folks. You can right there. They can be they can be messing with each other's wives. They can be messing with each other's little kids. But one thing I see about them is that when it comes to this business, they always united.
Mm-hmm.
Always. So when it comes to going to get, let me tell you something. Let me use another example, right? Mama and daddy got to be united with the kids in order for them to not be confused.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go ask mama one thing and then go, oh, daddy, oh, that ain't right, and think you're not going to have no confusion. They had to be united in what they were doing and the whole plan that they had to be here, period. And that's why, even if you look, what's the other one? United States of Amherst?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because we're only talking in word form at this point. And these are so-called, let's be honest, corporate You want to use corporations, it's fine. Corporate land structures, they all decide to get together and say, hey, we're going to follow these rules and regulations. This is how business go, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
This is how households are supposed to go too. But see, we forfeit this power to go government or something else. Government don't run none of the doggone thing in my home. And I promise you, all my family members know it.
Mm-hmm.
So we've given away our own united front. You understand what I'm saying? And gave it to the people who run our states. But no, they aren't united. They're united with their laws. They're united with their legal system. They're united with their policing system. They're united with their educational system. They're already, period. We're the ones that's not. And it's mind-blowing because we're the majority. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, when I look at how we are in America, we're like, it's that elephant syndrome. You know, that trained elephant syndrome. Like, we don't even have anything on our legs, but we still not gonna move, not gonna go nowhere, and we live in this America because that united front, it worked.
Mm-hmm.
And they're united in having us think that we don't have no power. Look at what we're going through about a vote. They united in that, are we? Look at everything. Even let's take January 6th. Weren't they united in running up in that place?
Mm-hmm.
Were they divided or were they united?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So we really got to look at what the word means and look at what they did. And I mean, it is real. They were united in the huge elaborate scheme that they call this American system.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother? United States of America. Kurt, you there?
You talking to me, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm right. Now, what was your question?
United States of America. What does that say to you?
According to their behavior,
Mm-hmm.
it says absolutely nothing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Are we to be honest?
Are we a United States of America, or have we as a people been pushed to the side in regards to being united?
The United States of America says nothing to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hurt, man. You know what? I'm gonna be transparent. Some people gonna think I'm a fool. Some people gonna say, "Oh, there you go. You know, why would you cry for them and this, that, and the third?" I'm gonna tell you something, man. Yeah, I'll admit it. Yeah, I bought into the experiment because I truly believe if we can get past all this division and all, if we can get past all this hate, I truly believe that we can actually see the experiment come to its full fruition.
Mm-hmm.
Right? January 6th, man, I realistically had to take off, man. January 6th, man, I cried, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people will say, well, what you crying for? This, that, and the third. And I respect their opinion. But what I saw on January 6th, bro, was the blatant disregard for what his own people signed in the law.
Mm-hmm.
See, there's some things about history that they won't tell us. They won't tell us that 7 of the dudes, at least at a minimum, 7 of the dudes whose signatures on the Declaration of Independence are Negroes. They won't tell us that. Why? So we had, I ain't going to say just as much to do with that document coming together, but we had an input. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And it, man, I put my life on the line for this country 2 times. Actually, 3 times. But one, it was in the same place. So I put my life on the line. Not just for the black folk, But for the black vote, the white vote, the black white candy stripe. I put my life on the line for what I believe is what would be deemed a human quality greater than the human quality of self,
Mm-hmm.
for community, for country, for liberty, for justice, and to watch our justice be completely disregarded and disrespected. I cried, man,
Wow.
because that ain't what for. I got 2 kids. I got 2 black men. I got one right now. I swear to God, Raheem, I'm praying more now than I ever prayed before. And you think I would be doing that for my oldest? It's not for my oldest. It's for my mild one, my youngest. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's in an environment where now he's getting ready to start getting the calls. Get out of here, nigga.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, Black Spot, don't be touching my son like that. He's getting ready to get that. And I'm praying that, one, he's prepared and that I've prepared him. And I'm praying that, 2, he don't get angry.
Yeah. Wow.
You understand? Because as parents, we have to evaluate our kids, correct?
Yes.
Well, let me give you my evaluation. Real simple. My mild-mannered son, in all 16 years of his life, I've only seen this young man mad one time. One time.
Mm-hmm.
When he gets angry, I don't know how far he'll take it.
Wow. Wow. And in this day and time, that could be very dangerous, brother. In this day and time, let me go to my phone line. To Salt. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Doing well. Good morning.
Toussaint, United States of America. Are we really united, brother?
Never been.
Hmm?
That's one of the biggest lies ever told.
Mm.
When?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I don't know. No, but I
but
don't.
When has this? No. Let's narrow it down.
Mm-hmm.
In what state?
I can't see it, brother.
In what city? What neighborhood?
Mm-hmm.
What culture? What, I don't know. What you pick whatever you want to. You can pick government. You can pick state. You can pick city. You can pick organizations to a certain point. As a matter of fact, you know what? I think United for division. We're consistent on that.
Mm-hmm.
We won't be divided.
Mm. Wow.
I think they should have. I think somebody said that they should have left segregation alone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How you mix? I don't mix with people that don't want to mix with me.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want me at your house, I won't show up.
Yep.
Period. And matter of fact, you're not welcome at mine. Let's live like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can work together. I grab one end, you grab the other end, we finish the job and go our separate ways.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we're gonna operate. I can work side by side with the Klan, white supremacists or anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they leave, go to your way, then let's get the job done. And I don't want to hear your opinion. I'm not gonna hear you mine.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not talk about religious and politics because we never agree.
Never going to agree. Leave the topic alone. Leave it alone. Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, we to that point, even our religions are not united.
Mm-hmm.
We divided with that,
Yeah.
being that way.
Mm-hmm. 508.
So no,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tucson.
no. The short answer is no.
Mm-hmm. Wow. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. Captain Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
Just listening. Um, you know, uh, it's perspective. I was never convinced that this was anything more than a place to live.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been under the impression of anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I never expected a whole lot from it, or what have you, or for these people to be any better than the other people, or what have you. So I don't have this misconceived notion that this ever was such a great place. It's always been united. It's been united for business interests. It's a
Mm-hmm.
corporation. It's a corporation that works together. It works together because it achieves more together. We sit on the top three of the United Nations of the entire world. We have the most defensive military in the entire world. We have accomplished much by being united,
Mm-hmm.
to where the United States was looked upon as a leader in the world of democracy. That's what people continue to leave out of the equation. You
Mm-hmm.
think you act as if democracy is everywhere. It's
Is it
not.
broken? Is it broken though, Leonard? Is this democracy that we talking about, that we standing on, has it been broken?
No, it's never been finished. It's never been completed.
Mm-hmm.
This thing has to be worked on. And
Mm-hmm.
whether you contribute to it or not, it's going to keep going. I don't expect people to do anything that I wouldn't do.
How many years have it been? 400, 500 years?
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
mean,
Well,
it's
look
been a
how.
long time.
But this is the thing. This is the problem. People expect things to change overnight. They didn't get the way they are overnight. It
Mm-hmm.
took 300 and 400 years.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't even been a nation that long.
Would you agree with me if I said 300, 400 years of absolute corruption?
No, because that wouldn't be true.
Mm.
What do you think it is somewhere? You think there's no corruption in other places?
No, that's not what I
Corruption
said.
is
I said
corruption is as common as
mhm.
breathing.
Okay, but I'm saying like we supposed to be the big mirror of the world.
No,
Not
no,
96.
no.
That's how they
That's
look at us.
propaganda that you all were fed.
Mm-hmm. So that's
You
not
people,
true.
a lot of you people over 50 understand what I mean. You were fed
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of BS and propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you ought to thank God for an open source internet so you can go actually find out the truth of the matter instead of
Mm-hmm.
believing and being disappointed by
Right,
them
right,
lies you
right.
ate.
Okay. Well,
Preach.
let me ask you this question right here. If I could come to Leonard right now and ask him this question and him answer me 100%, no chaser, what would be the one part of propaganda that we was fed that should not have been fed to us 50 years ago or whatever?
America's interests were completely humanitarian.
Mm.
You never should have been under that issue. They made you love killing other people that were different colors.
Mm-hmm.
They made you demonize everybody else that wasn't American and that they were wrong and you were right. That's what they did. So
Mm-hmm.
now you think you have the high moral ground to go around the rest of the world and tell them what they should do.
So basically, you're saying the moral compass is off.
It never was on.
Mm.
This has never been a decent place. That's why I'm trying to wonder where did you all live? Where do you come from?
Mm-hmm.
Where things were just so freaking great. I just don't know. Maybe y'all. I don't know. Tell me. I've been here 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
And Leonard, you sure right because we still the Constitution. We didn't
Man,
have black presidents. The Constitution still say we 3/5 of a human.
it was a mess when I got here.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be. I don't know what you. all this Jiminy Cricket back in the day crap is about.
This
Miss me
dude
with
said
all that.
Jimmy the Cricket back in the day. Okay, I heard you. Go ahead. Go
Miss
ahead.
me with all that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's never been a great moral place. Where'd that come from?
And I'm going to tour you after you, but let me ask you this: is it going in that direction?
What
Or
direction?
are we at least headed in the right direction of being moral and that upstanding society that everybody say that we are? Are we headed in that direction?
We
Or
do
we
good
still
to
off
make it.
track?
We do good to eventually make it to equality,
Wow.
and that don't take no morals at all.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Wow.
so equity and equality and things like that. Moral is what you ought to be personally.
Mm-hmm.
That's your personal goal.
Mm-hmm.
But we got 50% of people still would vote for an immoral individual to run the nation. So how
Wow.
close you think you are?
Wow. 50% of the people would vote for an immoral person to run the nation. Wow, there's a heck of a statement, brother. Toy you with a T, what's on your heart?
Yeah, because a lot of us are immoral.
Mm-hmm.
But I just kind of throw this out there, right? So for me, I know I should feel privileged, and I do feel privileged to live in the era that I lived in. Because if I was born earlier, I wouldn't have made it out the womb. I would have came out smacking white folk. Because I'm not with none of that. I'm with the book.
Exactly.
So I thank the Lord. But I will say yes, that my life was better than what my ancestors went through.
Mm-hmm.
That play, that dream they sell us of equality and things like that. I will admit that for the last 45 years of my life, it has been better compared to what they went through. So the dream that they sold me is what I'm pursuing. The dream that Martin was talking about, previous people, regardless of how the intricate plan had to get there for my freedom. I don't care if a white man, Thomas Jefferson, had to lobby sneaky or whatever to stop some of the inhumanity. It trickled down to where we are today. And I can say that, yeah, this has been a hunky-dory life compared to the life that some of my ancestors lived when white folks was coming to drag you out your bed because you looked at another white person. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I will acknowledge that here in 2021. I will acknowledge the fact, 2022, sorry. But I will also acknowledge the fact that we still have a long way to go.
Mm-hmm.
We are still suffering. I'm still suffering as a female with equality. But now my fight is not just with white people. This is my problem. This is my problem today in 2021. It's not just with black people. It's not just with white people. I got to deal with men. I got to deal with multicultural issues. I got to deal with governmental issues. You know what I'm saying? The fight is real. But it is not what it used to be 100 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Walking in this privilege, I cannot forget that I did not live that life that they lived. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I used to be better. You feel what I'm saying? And a lot of us are not doing that. So many of us. The child molester has a hard time admitting what he do to the child too.
Mm-hmm.
To sit down in the face to face, it's gonna be hard for them, even though they active. You know what I'm saying? And the abuses that Americans are,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be hard to face that fact. You know what I'm saying? So I get it, but it is better than what it was before. We are working towards that goal. That's supposed to be the point in the goal. That's why these soldiers going over there dying. That's supposed to be the point of why we get up every day and try to go to work and whatever. And we live in this matrix of a lie. And then here we back on the conversation. So is it better or not? Because for me, it is. Now, don't get me wrong. I still got some fights and trials and tribulations, which is universal. They ain't never going nowhere. We might as well cancel that. We always going to have something to talk about because trust and believe. We humans, we don't like it peaceful. We don't like perfection. So we always going to keep something up. We ain't never going to be happy. We ain't going to never not have nothing to talk about because we just not going to do it. Mm-hmm. But I will acknowledge, I thank the Lord for opening my eyes and showing me that you be grateful for all things, no matter where you are today. Because when deliverance comes, and you see it, you still going to have to remember to be grateful for that tomorrow, no matter where it is. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like individual plight is what really keep you in that situation. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just sorry. I'm that Harriet Tubman one. Shoot me, kill me, push me off. But I'm finna go for this certain kind of freedom that I know exists. And it ain't come out no book, it ain't come out the government mouth, and it came out because nobody told me, because God birthed it in me. And that's what I'm aiming for. So whatever trials and tribulations are ahead because of that, let's do it. But I will say it's gotten better.
Okay. Okay. Now, Goddess, would you agree with that? It's gotten better.
Mhm. Well, I could say better to a certain extent. They're not burning down whole complete towns like Rosewood and Greenwood, but they still pulling us out of the house. They still killing us. Uh, they still coming up in our house and they still killing us in our house. And to me, that's like a zero tolerance. If it happens to one person, it should be a zero tolerance. You still hearing about people getting hung. Like, that should be zero. I mean, zero. It should never exist in 2022. Uh, and we've had several incidents that continue to happen. And there is no justification for it.
Yeah. 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 You can't turn that wrong into a right. I don't care how you look at it or how you turn it or how you try and spin it. You can't. It's very difficult to do that. Badger, what's on your heart? And Tucson coming to you next.
What exactly did you ask?
Say it again.
So what was it that you asked?
No, I was just saying you can't turn a wrong into a right. I don't care how you try and spin it.
No,
If it's wrong, it's wrong.
I can agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's some of some of the discussions I've had lately with some people. It's just things are all over the place. They want to see like good come to people that deserve it, but at the same time, it's like an acknowledgement that all right, certain people are going to get access to certain things which they deserve, and then we're like, how's the government going to use that to keep us separated even more? You
Mm-hmm.
know, so to me, like a lot of the stuff is how are they working the system to provide what most people want and to keep us separated at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that, you know, your topic that you posted plays a huge factor in it. I
Mm-hmm.
think some people, the depth of thinking, you know, and looking at certain things, and I guess because of the perspective I have, you know, with because of my family, we have three different races in our house. So there are three different perspectives that we have to be aware of and pay attention to because it's not only part of our history and culture, but it also influences how people judge us.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if I wanted to be treated a certain way, I dress a certain way. And so on and so on. If I'm wearing my native jewelry, I get treated entirely different. If I'm just wearing blue jeans and shirts, I get treated another way. If we're practicing my wife's culture, we get viewed in that way.
Mm-hmm.
So we've gotten to see three different points of views of how society views three different races,
Mm-hmm.
and
Wow.
it's disturbing. And
Mm-hmm.
and that's not even touching on the fact that the people's perspectives on mental disorders.
Mm-hmm.
So now there's
Mm-hmm.
four. So I guess my perspective on a lot of this stuff is skewed in quotation marks because, I'm slowly finding out that a lot of the things that I've experienced and what I've learned other people have experienced, a lot of people aren't even aware of.
Yeah.
They don't even know what's happening. So I kind of want to ask a return question.
Okay. Wrap it up, man. You right at your 3 minutes. What's your return question?
Okay. Once the
Reparations.
reparations, yes, thank you,
Mm-hmm.
are made, what's next?
Leonard, you want to address that? Once
Well, there is
reparations.
no next. Reparations need to be made into perpetuity. So
Mm-hmm.
it's never going to end. It's not a one-time deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that type of thing where you sit and it's taken care of. No, you have to constantly do it because you constantly inflicted so much on certain people
Mm-hmm.
that you must not only compensate them for that, you must compensate their children and their children's children.
Mm-hmm.
So this will become a part, reparations has to become a part of American policy making,
Mm-hmm.
which is what we see this current administration has focused and made this huge statement of its pursuing racism throughout its federal branches and programs and things like that. And it's empowering people to say, hey, if there something racist is going on, you must say something.
Mm-hmm.
And we must strive to move away from those things that were racist, like law enforcement. That's not going away tomorrow.
That's right.
That's not going away next year, 2, 3, 4, 5
Mm-hmm.
years. That's a constant policy. You have to change the culture of America.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to change overnight. That may not change in another 200 years, but you can get a lot of work done in between then.
Mm-hmm.
You separate yourself. That's what
So
you do.
what I'm hearing you say it, and you made it real clear, but I want to make sure that just in case somebody else missed it, it's not a one time deal. It's not a one
No,
time. Okay,
oh
yeah,
no, oh
we're gonna pay
no. It's
you
it's it's
and
it's not,
mm-hmm.
and no one should expect it to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing about true reparations. When does reparations for the Holocaust stop?
Wow.
What about reparations paid to Germany for other issues that related to the war? When does that stop?
It doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, thank
Hey,
you,
man,
thank you, thank you,
hey,
Kurt.
man,
Mm-hmm.
since you're on that topic, you might be able to answer a question for me that will then kind of paint a picture for the listener. Because I've been trying to gauge this thing, but I can't figure it out. Leonard, how many generations since, and this you can guesstimate, but I value your opinion and your guesstimation. How many generations since 1520
Mm.
has slavery affected?
My goodness. If you just look at the time period that people toss around for slavery at 400 years, right? Let's say, remember, a generation used to be about 40 years, I think. But now we're somewhere around what, 20 years as a generation? You're actually reproducing every 25 years uh, completely. So think about it. Instead of every 40 a generation used to represent, we down there to almost every 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
So think
Hold
about
on
the
now.
time, that time since then, since not till now.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Let me pull some more people into the conversation. Toy, you with a T. What's on your heart, sis?
1600 times 4.
Mute your
I
line,
feel like
Curtis.
we're
Mute your
skipping
line, Curtis.
somebody. I feel like we're skipping somebody. So if somebody else on the line that hasn't gone, can you please go to them?
Okay. We just lost Donald. You next up, sis. You next up. What's on your heart?
Okay, cool. I mean, we already know where we are. So, like, I guess you can think of reparations. I didn't quite hear the question, but if you can kind of think of reparations as what that Social Security payment that you get when your parents pass away before you of age,
Mm.
and because you know what I'm saying, I guess you can kind of look at it like that to an extent. But for the simple fact that we all know what happened, and that people were enslaved and not paid for the job that was done that created this great place. In exchange for that, the law allows for a payment to be received for that. You know what I'm saying? And anyone who would be against that, are you doing it just because you can? Because it's not because you understand. You know what I'm saying? When you understand everything that happened to in America to black people, then you should understand, you know, what reparations are for. And if it would have happened to you or anyone else in yours, then that's something that you should seek to receive. You know, we get to sue people who are negligent, right? And in my personal opinion, I feel like in 2022, not only should we get reparations, but all Americans, it's white ones too. You know, white people have to suffer from some of the stuff that their ancestors did, right? What they call it like Stockholm Syndrome. We are made to live in this foolishness and make it seem like it's normal. All of us. We have to walk around with this foolishness and be treated like it's normal. And now we're looking around like, oh, well, you know, I don't understand what's going on with America. No, because the flip side, the white people that got to deal with the backlash of what their great grandfathers did, you know what I'm saying? I can just imagine what they're going through. But we already know how this thing go down. They got evil people in the world. And then here you got us, you know what I'm saying, with our own plight that we got against them. But this is what sours down for black people. What waters down our plight is when we do it amongst each other. Here we go again. We got to be united when it comes to reparations. Here we go again. Even with the voting system, we got to be united in order to make anything pass or anything go through. So here we go again. You know what I'm saying? We water down what is like legally ours, what should be legally ours, because of the things that we go through in our own communities and the things that we put each other upon. And that makes these conversations a little bit more, you know what I'm saying, scarier. But now we need to check that. If you're a human white person, especially, only because we're talking about an issue that happened between white and black people, and you feel like because we fight each other is why we shouldn't get reparations, you have a mental problem. That ain't got nothing to do with nothing. That ain't got nothing. So what? You get to do it too? You know what I'm saying? That doesn't go. We've grown away from this type of inhumanity. You know what I'm saying? So in this day and age, if we don't really acknowledge what reparations are for, what it is, and understand the process of what was done, you're a part of the problem in the American system. You know what I'm saying? We can't expect for anything to change if we're just going against the grain just because we can, instead of just facing the real facts of what happened. You know, so again, I didn't hear the question, but that's where it seemed like it was going. So, you know, again, that's all I got on that.
Exactly.
What I want to refer back to,
Mm-hmm.
Oprah Winfrey, we would all say she's accumulated much.
Yes.
Coming from the background she came from and everything, she's done great. She has maximized her potential and still using every breath in her body to do such.
Mm-hmm.
She said when she was asked about racism, what will it take to end it? All the racists must die. I would refine what she said. They can't be allowed in power. The problem is not a difference of opinion. The problem is using that difference of opinion to create policy and programs that discriminate against people of color.
But let me say this to you.
I'm talking
I,
about
I,
how you
I,
feel.
I hate to say it in this way. And public citizen just put another comment. I'm gonna post this comment of what he said. But my thing is, Oprah Winfrey may not be totally off base when she said all of them would have to really die off. And
No, because some of
the
you are
reason
still
why,
alive.
well, I'm not racist, but my thing is this right here. We're talking about the racist people. Some of them would have to die off, and the reason why I say that is because look at your ex-president, your last administration. He's no longer quote unquote in power, but he's still calling a lot of the shots. Even though he's not in power, he's not in office, but he's still, because of the people that's in office, that's connected to him in some kind of way, whatever way that is. He's still calling certain shots as we go forward.
Well, I
And
don't
so,
blame him for doing what he's trying to do.
yeah,
I
what
don't. I mean, I don't expect anything less. Decent people's job is to fight against him.
Exactly. But that's my point. You helping me make my point, because he's no longer in office, but because of the impact that he had on these individuals, his say so still carries a lot of weight.
But
And a lot of
he don't
and a
have to
lot
be
of
in
stuff.
office. And
Yeah.
sometimes black folks give white folks way too much credit.
hmm Well, I'm just looking at what it is, brother. And
No,
like I
and
said, I
that's
see.
one of been the biggest issue is
hmm
that one, when if you go all the way back to Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King's main goal was to get you involved in society and get in these positions of authority and these seats and everything, and to step up and participate in this government to
hmm
ensure that you will be treated fairly and that we will arrive one day at eradicating racism.
hmm
But the only reason why America was the way it was is because people were prevented at one point from doing that.
hmm
So
Okay.
you still have places where they ain't even had never had a black representative or anything.
hmm hmm
And there's
But
plenty of black people there. So one, and a public citizen made a comment. Black folks didn't do this to white folks.
hmm
White folks did this.
hmm
They ought to be leading the charge to change it. The good white folks. That's why we have great folks like the abolitionists and these people who have always been against it.
hmm
But they're rare.
Okay,
They're
and
rare.
and that goes right back. That goes right back to my point. A lot of times, Oprah Winfrey, I think it's just me talking there. I could be wrong, but I think that she's right. A lot of would have to die off in order for a new to come forward. A
That's
lot of
because you still allow them to have power. The
not
Mitch
no 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 no
McConnells and
no no.
all these
I
people
don't.
should not be there in a
hmm
progressive society. See, y'all think y'all progressive, but look at your leadership.
hmm
It's not.
Okay. Well, see, my thing is, I'm not disagreeing with you, but what I am saying is they would have to be gone, because my example is
Beat him
with
in
your
an
president.
election. He ain't got to die. Beat him.
And that's exactly what happened to Trump. That's exactly what he lost.
Yeah.
But
Can I
he still.
here?
Yeah, hold
Can I
on.
see
Yeah,
something?
yeah. Give me 1 second. He's no he lost the election, voted them out. Biden is the president now.
Mhm.
But you cannot tell me that Trump is not still calling some of his shots with in the Republican Party.
He was
He is.
calling shots before he was president.
You missing what I'm saying to you, brother.
No,
But go
you
ahead.
giving him all this credit. He has the microphone, but Trump has been doing the same thing for quite some time. It's
hmm
easy to bait ignorant people. This is not a big deal. They're
I'm
going
not
to
saying
follow him regardless of what he says. He's
a
no
dead
great
man can't call
leader.
a dead man can't call shot, Leonard, and that's my point. When they die off, they can't cause their
Well, it's
shot.
a
That's the
lot of
only
dead
problem.
men shots written into your law.
Mm, that's a good,
Listen,
good point. Good point.
here,
Go ahead, Kurt.
can I?
Go ahead.
Okay. If Oprah said that, that is the most idiotic thing to say. That was an easy way to push off the actual question and
Thank you.
to deflect, go around the situation. Because if that was the case, when Jesus gave his physical life on the cross, we would not be Christian. You cannot, you will not, it has never happened in the history of humanity. You will not kill off an ideology. You have to come up with a new one that is more palatable for the people to adjust to. You can't kill off an ideology. For example, Paul Connor been dead now probably 50 years.
Thank you.
His ideology is this, all right? The Nazi Party has been, realistically, if we think about it, has been killed off for 60, 80 years. Their ideology still exists. I'll say this, and I won't say no more. You know, I just got picked up in a film. I'll be in Atlanta on the 11th. I just got picked up in a film that's shooting in Georgia. Now I fully understand why so much racism exists in Georgia. And I didn't know this. Do we all know that the the Nazi POW camps were mainly established and set up in Georgia and North Carolina? How many people knew that?
But see,
was
what y'all
German
are saying is one thing. What y'all are saying are one thing, and it's all it's almost like we throwing the ball back at each other, because my thing is right here. you say that only way it would change, the ideology would change, is if you come up with a new ideology. Well, if you come up with a new ideology, then you're in all respects killing the old one anyway.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're killing the ideology.
Mm-hmm.
If
Exactly.
you kill the man, it's just like,
No,
okay,
no, you missed what I
let's
said,
use the
Curtis. Curtis,
same
Curtis,
orange
Curtis, Curtis,
orangutan you was just
Curtis,
talking about.
Curtis, Curtis. You missed what I just said, brother. I say that I was speaking about the ideology. I said nothing about the man. I said if you get a new ideology, if you get a new ideology and to take over, then that old ideology. I didn't say the man died. I said the old ideology would die because now you got a new way of going. You got a new way of thinking, and so that in essence killed the old ideology. I said nothing about the man.
Okay. Before, Oprah's statement was, you got to kill them all off.
Mm-hmm.
They have to die.
That's not what I'm
Right?
talking about. I'm
And
past
you
that
were
part.
saying,
I'm past that part. Go
you
ahead.
were saying, okay.
Mhm.
All right. So what I'm saying is this. If you take the orange orangutan
Mm-hmm.
and you did a real study on his life,
Mm-hmm.
you would find that when he was a kid, his father used to take him to all of the Klan meetings.
Mm-hmm.
His father was a grand marshal
Yeah.
in the New York chapter of the Klan, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So is it safe to say that his father was a racist?
Safe.
It's safe to say that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is it safe to say that his father is no longer alive physically?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's safe to say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the father is dead,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
His father's ideology passed on to the son.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The son is still alive.
Mm-hmm.
When the son dies, his ideology, when the orange orangutan dies,
Mm-hmm.
his ideology has already passed over to his sons.
Okay.
You
Now,
can see it. It's prevalent. It's right there in your face.
now what would happen? Now, what in what you're saying right now? I want to pull some more people into the conversation because I don't want to, I want to be respectful of everybody's time. But my thing is, in what you're saying, what you're presenting right now, what if just and this is hypothetical, the orangutan, the orange orangutan, as you referred to him, great grandson or great granddaughter decided they want to date. They love black people. They want to marry somebody black, and they live in that. And they live in that vein that they don't look at this racism thing like they grandfather or great grandfather did, and they decide that I love everybody. This black girl, I'm gonna marry her. We're gonna have a family together. Or this black guy, we're gonna marry each other. We're gonna have a family together. Would you say at that particular time, in that particular person, that old ideology has died? That's all I'm saying to you, brother. When you dealing with ideologies, in order for the new one to come, it will kill the old one. So if orange orangutan, like you said, I'm trying to use your verbiage. If his great grandson or great granddaughter decided they want to be with or marry or have a family with black people, then that ideology that the orangutan and his dad had is dead in this person. That it has died. Rico, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Man, I can't complain, man. Welcome to the world and welcome
Mhm.
to the new day, everybody.
Thank-
Congratulations.
Yes, sir. What's on your heart, brother?
Man, a lot of times we have these discussions and we think that one solution or one way would be the complete solution.
Mm-hmm.
And what Oprah said was sort of one-sided, but I'm not gonna call it wrong. And then she could have also just been speaking metaphorically. She could have been
Mm-hmm.
speaking about ideology too, kill them all off. Because what
Mm-hmm.
she said is killing that momentum. It
Mm-hmm.
can never be wiped out completely. You will always have secret pockets of people that still support that ideology, just like the Nazi ideology. The same people that um, helped the United States defeat Germany was also helping Germany fight the United States and and kill the Jews while they were over there in those camps. And at the same time, they had parties and headquarters in New York. Some of your most well-known Republicans right now, grandparents and parents,
Mm-hmm.
Prescott Bush and all them people. That's why the neo-Nazis still exist. But see, the thing is you have to get consistent and be absolute. In communism, racism is illegal. But I could still pull up videos that were just made 2 days ago of white Russians making monkey sounds and throwing bananas at black people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I could still see it in China and communism, even though racism is illegal. So what it is that you have to use. I'm gonna say it might take 5 fronts. You might have to use. Okay, I'll put it to this way: white supremacy and racism affects us in every aspect of our existence. It can impact us.
Mm-hmm.
So you fight it in every aspect of your existence.
Mm-hmm.
You fight it in religion. You fight it in the workplace. You fight it in every aspect, and at the same time, you put consequences behind it when you find out people actually participate in it. Like the DA down in was it Brunswick County that was gonna let Ahmaud Arbery's killers off.
Yes.
What they need to do, they need to hit her with the most severe penalty.
Mm-hmm.
That way, that will sort of sway other prosecutors and district attorneys across the United States to think twice when they want to play that privilege and good old boy game.
Mm-hmm.
They should penalize police officers so severely for abusing that authority, because you got the opportunity to get away with murder. Same thing with doctors. If they find a consistency in malpractice with your patients being a certain race, throw penalties at them so hard that the other people would be afraid to mistreat those that they hate, even though they are the surgeons, even though they are the attorneys, even though they are the judges and district attorneys and politicians. When you are practicing, if you hiring people and you happen to say, well, you know what, I'm going to disqualify all these certified and qualified black people and Chinese people because I need to hire people to look like us, man. I feel more comfortable around my own kind.
Mm-hmm.
Prosecute them to the fullest extent. Get them some of them Black Panther penalties that after you finish your sentence, we still gonna keep you around 5 more years, hidden somewhere on the ground because you just don't. We want to and we can.
Mm-hmm.
You make absolute justice and consistent justice against the things that really needs to be pushed out, and they will succeed less more. But we have to understand some white supremacy succeeds because black people make it successful.
Mm-hmm.
In
Wow.
the way we act and in what we embrace and believe in,
Mm-hmm.
what we participate in.
Yeah, exactly. Goddess, what's on your heart, sis? Goddess, you there?
I'm right here.
Okay, what's on your heart?
I think history is a wonderful thing, and we cannot forget about what history is about.
Mm-hmm.
And because it repeats itself on a daily basis. And once we try to erase history and we try to remove it, we forget exactly where we stand at. So you have a group of white folks right now who has been trying to, shall I say, I hate to say the word white folks, but it is Caucasian, that are trying to erase history due to sometimes Stockholm Syndrome, as what's the name said, but also due to the fact that they just feel like it needs to be removed. But the main key factor is that some of these same people are realizing they're not feeling the same way that their old ancestors are feeling because they got great grandchildren that are black.
Mm.
And this is why that the white supremacists are going door to door, like Jehovah's Witnesses now are going door to door to try to continue to recruit, because they're losing that whole agenda, that mentality, that what were y'all just saying? What was I can't think of the terminology. The idea.
Mm-hmm.
They're losing that, and people are failing to realize that they are losing that on the mass. But in that same structure, it still exists. Because I remember they used to say, "Oh, racism don't exist. Racism don't exist." And when Trump came in, he showed that it was existence. It was it was in full blown. Always has been. It ain't
Mm-hmm.
never went nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And,
That's go ahead, sis.
and that right there in itself is key. But we're about to go through it again, and we don't even see it. We're about to go through again with the COVID and how they're using the same mentality with the COVID. And people don't even get it. You can't go to restaurants unless you got a card. They're closing down. You can't fly to California unless you can prove, or New York. I think New York is like that too. I think, I'm not for sure, but I know certain states, they're starting to do that. But
Mm-hmm.
that same mentality is same. So it doesn't matter whether you forget about my immunity. So
Mm.
it's like, I don't know. We're right there. We're right back in
Exactly.
that same situation.
Absolutely. Toy, you with a T, talk to me, sis. Toy, you there?
Yeah, no. No. No, some very valid points, and yeah, the ideology of racism has to die. But, I guess to an extent, that's a human right. And,
Mm-hmm.
you got a right to not like who you want to like. What you don't have the right to do is cause any harm or fear, you know what I'm saying, to that person because you don't like them. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? I mean, but any human being, you can look at anybody, oh, you're fat, I don't like you. Oh, you know what I'm saying? You got the right to do that. It only becomes an issue if you think you're going to infringe that upon me. You know what I'm saying? And I think, that's the point where I'm at in life right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need a law to protect me. I'm on Papa capping you if you think you're going to do something to me, period. You know what I'm saying? I'm not looking for no laws to avenge me. I'm not looking for no governors to avenge me in my eyes. I'm not doing all that. Listen, this is the law. This is the rules of the game. I'm going to abide by them to the best of my ability. But in the event that you should, you know what I'm saying, happen to impose on me and my human rights, because I'm at the point now, I'm going to make sure I always do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
As much as possible. And when you come infringe upon on me or mine, I'm going to get my own justice.
Mm-hmm.
No, I ain't never been a call the police kind of girl. No, I don't need them. I'm finna save taxpayers' money. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I think we're still looking to this ideology to be the savior. When y'all said that the ideology has to die and be replaced with another one, the first thing I thought about, heck, Jesus. Jesus is the best one I know. God the best one I know. And it still ain't worked.
Mm-hmm.
So that way. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, at the end of the day, what I've learned, and I said this the other day, is that I operate under the Most High's law. He gave me 10 commandments not to break. You know what I'm saying? That's what I roll with. And I'm down here with these other little humans. My flesh is just a breath of what God said was going to be. So I'm going to keep my nose clean. But I'm telling you, can't no other human come to me and say that they're going to impose a law and cause harm to me. Anything that's got to do with kill, steal, and destroy, I'm not going to let them do that. And this is where United come in at, right? You need to know. Y'all remember when that white guy went over to that island over there, and them people on that island ripped them to shreds, and they didn't even do nothing about it? The only thing they know is we're not going over there and mess with them folks. That's how we need to be in America, as black folks.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's what we need to be. It needs to be, you know what, listen, they keep their nose clean. Hey, if they fight with each other, hey, fine. They pay their taxes, they pay this. But don't go over there messing with them, because we don't want what they got.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want no issues. We don't want no problems. We just want to, live here faithfully and just keep it moving. And that's the impression that we're going to have to make to the world. Period, point blank.
So Toya,
Now, we can sit around and wait for a law to give. Yeah.
No. I was just making. I'll go ahead and finish your thought. I'm gonna say something when you get finished. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Now, we can sit around and wait for a law to pass to give us that power. We can sit and wait for a president to get in office to give us that power. But I'm telling you, the taste that Black America is going to have to leave in the mouth of the world is needs to be, hey, listen, as long as they keeping their nose clean, don't go over there bothering them people, because we don't want what they got to offer. Period.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got to say.
So basically, you're trying to say they don't want that smoke.
That part, you said it. I'm trying to work on Because my show will be coming back real soon. I'm gonna have a day for you, and I'm trying to work on not being so hood and ghetto. I'm trying to change this thing on up. So
Exactly.
basically, in a nutshell, you said it for me. That's right.
They don't want this smoke. Let me Leonard, read this here for me, brother. Are you there? Public citizen. Leonard. Leonard, wake up and go to sleep. Rico, read that for me, brother.
Yes, enforce the laws, root out the corruption. We cannot allow systemic racism to persist, but we also need to call out interpersonal racism when we see it. We are all infected with the racism disease to some degree. That's true.
I'm back, Raheem.
Okay.
And
Okay.
right, he had made some things
Oh,
evident in his
Leonard,
last. Go
hold
ahead.
on, hold on one second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Rico,
Sure.
finish your thought. Then we'll go back to Leonard. What's your thought on that, Rico?
Yeah, that's very true what he said. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if we're gonna call it out, we have to call it out even when we perpetrate it. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to think now more about some of the people that got offended last week, and they continue to get offended sometimes when they hear us talk, because I have to think about it. I get mad when I get grouped together with ignorant black people.
Mm-hmm.
I said that sometimes you hear a racist white person say something about black people that's extremely wrong, and then you see some of the stuff and you be like, look at that, they doing exactly what they said. I don't
God
blame them for
Almighty.
saying it.
Yeah,
You know,
God Almighty.
and so
Yeah.
we have to call ourselves out. If I catch myself acting shucking and jivish,
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
catch myself, I'm like, you know what, I'm participating, I'm making what they say true. But the thing is we have to hold ourselves accountable. And so I can sort of identify with not wanting to be grouped together with that. So I made that comment earlier, and I'm trying from this point forward to the listening audience and everybody else, remind me, even though I'm human and I might slip up, remind me to designate racist white people so I don't group the non-racist white people with those comments. Because when we say white people and we speaking on the racism, it's some white people that don't believe in that stuff that really does feel some type of way. So we have to look at that from their point of view. Imagine Dr. Jane hearing that. She can only keep
Mm-hmm.
on assuming and saying, well, I know what they mean. I know what they mean. But still deep down inside, she feeling like, man, they saying it was like all of us, man. I don't
Yeah.
believe in that
Yeah.
mess.
Yeah.
But see, that's the
Yeah.
way I feel when I see the white people have the actual truth about black people, the negative things that they say. That's my feeling. Man, it's
Mm-hmm.
true what they saying, but that ain't me.
Yeah.
So when I fight against it, it's almost like I'm denying that those people exist, the black people that they are telling the truth about. Same thing with the white people. So I have to look
Mm-hmm.
at that, and the white people that's really feeling that way have to also understand that too, that sometimes when they're fighting back, their denial sounds like those white people don't exist that we're speaking of. And that's where that
Mm-hmm.
confusion comes in there, because we're not clear about how we speak. But he
Exactly.
was telling the truth, and
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, with this being a Christian broadcast, this is going to be a little harsh, but during the Crusades, a lot of Christians killed some people.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that Oprah was right, because the thing is we don't know particularly what type of racist white person we will encounter. But some of these people that we encounter, they want you dead.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to oppress you. They don't want you just living, not being in their neighborhood. They want to take a souvenir, and they want a trophy, and they want a notch on their belt. And you can't go back and say, well, she wrong for saying that, because guess what? As long as you keep allowing them to live and spew what they believe, they're gonna create other people that want to kill you and your children and your grandchildren and have you as a victim. So guess
Mm-hmm.
what you got to do to them people? You got to do what the people in the Crusades did, give them an eye for an eye. Some races have got to die, and they got to die brutally.
Wow. Wow. See, there's so many different layers tied in where we're going right now. There's a lot of different layers tied. I got a phone call. I want to go to that phone caller, but before I do that, Linda, I said I was going to come to you next, brother. What's on your heart?
Well, you can keep going to the next call.
Okay. It's my baby girl. Mary Perry. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. I'm well. How are you?
Hey, doing well. I don't know if you can talk on this topic here, but I'm gonna ask you a question, and you let me know whether you can or not. United States of America, are we really united?
It's all in the name. That's all I got to say about that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good deal, good deal. Kurt, what's on your heart, brother? Kurt, you there?
Hold on, guy.
Okay, Leonard, coming back to you, brother. What's on your heart?
Yes, like I say, it's a matter of perspective. I
Mm-hmm.
have a different perspective of things.
Yes.
And that perspective is always to try to add some positivity to wherever it is, whatever I'm saying, whatever I'm doing, to always be progressive and forward moving.
Mm-hmm.
And what I have learned is that, one, let other people have the diseases they claim, the negativity they claim, whatever they want. Let them have it. If
Mm-hmm.
it consumes them and kills them, then that's what it does.
Mm.
All this notion that we all go supposed to get along no, it's not it.
I'm back right here.
But
Okay.
I can respect you. I can
Mm-hmm.
leave you alone. I don't want to be in your house, laid up in your bed with you, sitting at your table talking to you about being black. I don't care nothing about that. Racism is a beast,
Mm-hmm.
perpetrated, and it was perpetrated by white folks. That's how we got this system. Let's dismantle the system. Y'all not gonna all get along. That's not the goal. The goal is to dismantle this system and right the wrongs that it has created. Now, how you feel personally, you can go home and feel like that the rest of your life. I do not care, because that is not part of any objective of mine or anyone fighting against racism, institutional racism, the type of racism that makes you write a law that disenfranchises people, the type of racism that says that white folks have a power to say that no black folks can live here.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're against. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
against the fact that you don't like black people, or that you don't think black people are better or equal or anything. That's that. Who
At
cares
the,
about
at
any
the
of that?
at the end of the day, does it matter whether they like black people or not? Does that even
No,
matter? Okay.
no, it
Okay.
does not matter. It helps,
Mm-hmm.
but it don't matter. We can
Mm-hmm.
tell who like them. Look at all these mixed babies running around here. You understand what I'm saying? So that
Mm-hmm.
thing gonna work. See, remember, that was part of the plan to begin with. Never to let you mix.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
see how it failed?
Mm-hmm.
Because these things are breaking down. Personal opinions and things like that, we've watched that break down, like we say, mixed babies. But remember now, they had mixed babies too when the white master was raping them.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So they were
Exactly.
creating their own demise.
Mm-hmm.
Let's let them, let's help them do that. I don't believe
Mm-hmm.
that they all got to die. I just believe that they should not be allowed to be in power, because I
Mm-hmm.
believe in you having your own personal concerns and issues.
Mm-hmm.
Long as they
Okay.
don't infringe upon my right to be an American, fine. That's what it's
Mm-hmm.
about. It's about us becoming Americans that can come together and focus together for those reasons. Yeah, you might not be the same color, you might not be the same religion, but at least as an Americans, we should have a goal for democracy and fairness.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. I'm gonna go to Curtis, but I gotta do my birthday shout out. Let me do my birthday shout outs for the day. We got Miss Ronda Rousey. Rico, you know who that is, don't you?
No, who you talking about?
She the MMA fighter.
Yeah, Ronda Rousey. Yeah,
Fighter.
Oh
MMA
yeah,
fight.
yeah, okay, yeah.
Mhm.
What
Yeah,
about
she's 34 years old today. Happy birthday to her. Let me see who else we got here on my list. We have let me go down. The legend. One of the legends, Mr. Rick James. My name is Rick James. His birthday, his late great brother. His birthday is today. Happy birthday to him. Big boy, 46 years old today. Happy birthday to him. Let me go down my list here. Who else do I have? Clark Gable. Y'all, if y'all look at the old movies on Kurt, you should know about Clark Gable. His birthday is today. He's the late great Mr. Clark Gable. So happy birthday to him as well. And anybody else that has a birthday today, you are just as important as everybody else's name that I just called. Happy birthday to you. And I make sure that you have a beautiful, blessed day and enjoy your day to the fullest. Let me go to Badger, then I'm coming to you, Kurt. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
Man, it seems like I'm just trying to throw different perspectives out there, and
Mhm.
it's I understand both sides of the perspective.
Mm-hmm. You talking about the reparations, or what part of perspective? Which
Uh,
part are we talking about?
just most of it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's like there are a lot of people that are tired of feeling like they're grouped up with all these other hateful people.
Mm-hmm.
So they're tired of it, and they do what they can within their environment.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of mental that goes into it, in my opinion, because having to unlearn what was taught can be very difficult because you're having to break a cycle,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not going to be easy at all. Um, because like when you're taught to think a certain way over and over and over again, and then you start waking up and go, this isn't okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like, in my opinion, you're forcing a trauma person to just say, all right, just suck it up and deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're fighting years of this very dangerous mentality of hate somebody else for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you have the other side of, oh, so we're in this situation and we're doing the best we can with what we're capable of doing, or because we don't know any better. It could be any of those. And watch a whole bunch of people get things, and we're still going to be left with a screwed up system and get nothing, and just continue to get screwed over. So to me, I feel this whole situation, yes, there's a lot of we need to work on and do our best to stop the racism, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But there
Wow.
is so much more to this when it comes to the mental state of all involved.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. That's good. That's good. Kurt, what's on your heart, brother? Kurt, you there?
Okay. Okay. Got it. Yeah, I'm here.
What's on your heart, brother? Told you with the T, coming to you next.
Um, when we speak in terms of racism, why does it seem like, and maybe this is what we got going on right now? Why does it seem like to me that we got to work so hard to prove so much about the existence of and the perpetuation of the act? Why do we have to work so hard to prove it? Why is there so much thought into, is it racism or is it not?
Mm-hmm.
When I always thought that evidentiary,
Evidently.
it's hard to see the word, evidence, I'll
Mm-hmm.
just use the singular word.
Okay.
I've always thought that evidence, according to law, is a proven remedy for a case.
Mm-hmm.
So what if we put racism on trial? Is it an open and shut trial? Or will we continue to perpetuate it by making excuses for it? It is the only thing that is heinous in its nature, heinous in its action.
Did you get the way to call it 257? Did you get the way to call it 257? Thank you.
But all at the same time, we go into a big problem of having to prove if it's really racism or not.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
If we put
My
racism,
answer to,
go ahead.
It's because there's only one group of people who are perpetuating that. Now, I hate to say it, but it's true. If you don't want to believe it, just look at the evidence.
Wow.
You don't see no black run behind no white boy shooting them down. You don't see no Asian folk run behind white boy shooting them down. You don't see no Mexicans running behind a white boy shooting them down. I'm just saying. And lastly, I say this. One of my favorite people to ever walk the face of this planet said, "We will not remember the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends."
That's good. That's good. Toy you with a T.
You're going to remain.
Go ahead, Kurt. Finish your thought, brother.
If you're going to remain silent and stand by and allow for it to happen, you're just as guilty as those who are perpetuating it.
Toy you with a T got a question for you. Toy, you there?
I'm here.
Let's deal with what Kurt just said, and the magnitude of what he just said. It then, if hate was, if racism was on trial, would you want it to be a jury trial or have a judge there? And how long of a trial do you think it would be? Would it be a speedy trial, or do you think it will end quickly?
No, of course not. You gotta look at how long it's lasted so far. That'd be an ongoing trial. You know, I'm for real. Right? So let's use the Stockholm Syndrome issue, right? And that's basically, somebody come take you, make you live their way of life, even though that's not the right way of life, and then you adapt to it. You just kind of just fold in, right? So now we all have experienced that. These are the racism doesn't exist people. Because I was like that, like again, 44, living in New York, I didn't have white people do anything to me. I had black people did things to me. My issue is more with men than white people. You know what I'm saying? From the things that I've been through, and the bad things they've done to me. So we all can pick up our racism from the atrocities that's happened. You feel what I'm saying? And that was my plight. So I didn't see the plight with the whole Caucasian race. I just had an issue with the histories I know they did. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to judge you for who you are. But your history, just know I got a feeling somebody watching me. And that's me watching you. You know what I'm saying? That part. But when I saw the whole Derek Chauvin thing with George Floyd, that changed my entire life. They wasn't these celebrities no more. Listen, I used to watch Mississippi burning and get so angry and had to go beat a tree. I sure couldn't go just beat people for no reason. I would listen to stories about my family who lost land, fooling with some of these folks. Excuse me, if the skin fit, wear it. Because when you talk about women, you talk about all women, not just the ones you dealt with. So if the skin fit, wear it. But it made me angry, and I couldn't do nothing about it. So now, personally, none of that never happened. But when I saw Derek Chauvin, when I saw that man do that to him on live TV, that changed my entire life about people. Now, I'm from the streets. I know how people can get down, and I know there are situations, living in the drug life. You know what I'm saying? We know what situations make you want to do something to somebody, to conquer, divide and conquer. Those are reasons where, you got to go kill up everybody because I want this land, right? You kind of get that. And either you indulge in that life or you don't. But no, over here with the regular people, we're trying to do what we're supposed to. And we're sitting up there watching this white man. No racism now. And all white people don't say, we passed that. But we watched this white man who was a cop put his knee on the back of that man's leg like he was a dog. Like he didn't even exist. That changed everything for me. Because it let me know, like, yo, so should I be feeling like all the rest of the black folks? Right? That walk with this certain anger. I already feel a kind of way because of police. Now, white people might not be able to identify with this. I'm just talking about being a little brown girl. We already feel some kind of way with police because what? the injustice and atrocities. The same reason why we feel the kind of way with white folks. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now we see this in 2020. What do you want me to do with that? So here we go again. Now I feel like that little girl that got molested. Now I gotta get up again and keep on going again. Because here we go, somebody done did something crazy, and everybody acting like ain't nothing going on. And now here I go again. I gotta be strong through this too, and still be feeling some kind of care about. Oh well, I'm not that white person. Well, you know what? I don't know which one of you was an agent. That's the state of where I am right now in America with this racism thing, with this whole George Floyd incident, man. That was reliving the stories in the Mississippi burners, man. And for me, I don't know about anybody else having kid gloves. Just know I love you if you white. I don't have no personal qualms with you. This is my feelings. But please know I'm going to protect you because you're human. But this is just really how I feel from my heart right now. What do you want me to do with that? What do you want black people to do with what just happened in 2020? And still talk about, it ain't no racism. Come on, y'all. Let's be real. There is. Even if it's not you, the fact of the matter is it is. And it's out there, and it kills people. So just because you haven't personally been affected by it, once again, let's go back and look at the May 25th, 2020, when a white officer put his knee on the back of a black man's neck for no reason. A non-violent man didn't have a gun for 8 minutes and some odd seconds. And then let's try to have that conversation again. You can't do it. Be quiet, walk away, and let's just try to do something else.
Good deal. Good deal. Public citizen, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Pretty good. Although this is a tough topic. Very tough topic. Well, okay. I guess I'll try to address what Kurt said about where's the amount of proof that people will accept. And the short answer, there's none. There's no amount of proof. I associate with a lot of white conservatives, and because I and they're not all bad people. They're really not. But I've had hours-long debates, multiple hours about racism, and they're always going to find a way to, just all kinds of little debate tricks to try to get rid of the responsibility or change the definitions of things. There's all kinds of little tricks that people do to avoid culpability. We all know that. We're all capable of that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
So that's one. No amount of proof. And also want to talk about the white supremacy and the idea that it's okay. So here's one of the points where conservatives kind of have a good argument, and it comes down to collective guilt and collective responsibility. So it's not white people that are the enemy. It's the whole system. So I think that's how you have to reframe the argument so you can win the argument. If you make white people the enemy, you're gonna lose. 10 out of 10. Trust me. I've done this conversation so many times. It has to be America benefited from the exploitation and subjugation of black people. Okay, that's the argument. I've been consumed by hatred of white supremacy, and Leonard made a comment last week. I don't remember the exact wording, but it was like, he doesn't let white supremacy live rent free in his head. And that's what we, non-white people need to do is realize, the biggest harm of racism is what it does to us, to our own minds. So, it's hard. It's really hard. It's really hard to get past that.
Yeah. Oh, so are we stuck?
A lot of people are stuck. And,
wow.
I don't know how you get unstuck. Sometimes religion can help people, or spirituality, or philosophy, or whatever. I don't know. Different people have different things. But the other thing, and this thing's gonna probably irritate people, but I have to say it anyway, is that, you know, in terms of like white people, there's some white people that are pro-black, right? There's some white people that are anti-black, but the majority are neutral. The majority are in the middle. And here's one thing I've learned from talking to just random white people, is a lot of them are kind of moving over to the anti-black. They used to be more pro-black, and they're moving anti-black because, you know, like riot, crime, all this stuff that they see on the news, they're moving. They're becoming Republicans. You know, Latinos are becoming Republicans. Blacks are becoming Republicans. You know, people who used to be in the middle, and that's a problem. It's a problem for all of us.
Wow.
I have a question now.
Say it again.
I said I have a question about that. Right? He's saying that, you know, some white people are turning anti-black because of riots. But wait a minute, wasn't those college towns that some white kids were rioting in, turning over their cars and setting things on fire? Those were their kids out there doing stuff like that. So that's what the difference is now, right? Because we can be the same race and do the same thing, and I'm not going to be anti the same as me. But if another race does the same thing that we do, then it becomes a fear. And see, this is where the racism has the issue, because we've seen how, and we just going to be for real. White people party, and some white college kids lose their minds. White people riot too. So now, why are you becoming anti-black because black people riot? Now, let's be honest, right? If you want to be anti-black, the same reason why I might be sometimes anti-black is because I don't want to do all that riffraff. I don't want to be around manipulators, liars, people who keep their stuff dirty. You understand what I'm saying? If you want to spit out some specifics on why you don't want to deal with black people because of traits that we do, then call that out. But call that out for every race. You shouldn't accept your own if they do the same thing. So this is where the racism come at. Don't want to not be around me because I'm black and do the same things that you do. And that's the problem. This is where we're underlining the racism at. Because we all do the same things. Latinos, blacks, whites, Asians, some of us, this is what we do as humans. But then we want to say, oh, well, I don't want to be around that. Let me tell you something. If you watch a lot of my footage from the George Floyd issue when we rioted in Atlanta, you know how many white people were out there carrying on with police. We can't do that. We can't talk to police and holler at them and say F you and all of that. And they not do nothing to us. But this is what a lot of the white people who are out there marching with us, this is what they were doing. At the same time, they were still our protection out there. You wasn't going to be able to hit no black person out there with the white people that was out there because of whatever little, I don't know, what kind of little power y'all got going on. And it just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So for me, my thing is be real. Be human with me. And if you're going to call things out that we do as black people as a reason not to deal with us, then that's what you do. But don't call out the same things that y'all do, you do, and then say y'all want to be around us. That's racism.
Exactly. Yeah. Rico, answer your question. Yes, but let me say this right here. One of the things about it is it's description. It's description and how the media put it out there. Because if we out there, if we out there and we quote unquote rioting with thug hoodlums, look at them. They're tearing up the place. They have no control. But if people that don't look like us is out there, say out the game or whatever the case, and they ride, they turning over cars, setting stuff on fire, stuff like that. Oh, look at them, they're celebrating. They're really celebrating. Oh, they really having a good time celebrating. Hold on now. The verbiage has to stay the same. The verbiage have to be consistent. And if the verbiage is consistent, then we can deal with it we could definitely deal with it better if the verbiage stays the same. Rico, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, you hit it then, man. You and Toya. See, that's where the real problem comes in at. Now, that's why all white people start getting grouped together. You see, you will separate yourself from these racist white people and don't want to be grouped together with them. But then at the same time, you're saying that a lot of people go to that side based on these things that they claim are going on while they're ignoring everything that they did or the situations that might have caused that riot. That riot started because they seen a white man kill a man on camera.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was instigated by outsiders that used the opportunity to come in during Black Lives Matter protests.
Mm-hmm.
White people knocking out the windows of advanced auto parts and stuff like that, causing the violence and the damage.
Mm-hmm.
White people that the little boy killed and got off for. And one black people up there in them riots.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you know, that goes back to what you said about the propaganda and what the eyes see. And see, I was I'm liking what they were saying about the racism living rent free in your head. But you know what happens when it doesn't live rent free in your head? It starts getting pushed further and further from your reality. And then all of a sudden you get caught off guard by it. Because guess what? I imagine racism wasn't living rent free in Ahmaud Arbery's head, and he got caught by it.
Mm-hmm.
Now he out of here.
Mm-hmm.
See, sometimes we don't have the opportunity to act like it don't exist, even when we don't want to believe it, or we do believe that it ain't down. Next thing you know, here it comes.
Mm-hmm.
You having a good old time. Then all of a sudden, here it comes. Damn, I can't believe it.
Hey, hey. Mm-hmm.
James Byrd of Jasper, Texas, drugged till his head came off.
Mm-hmm.
One of them white guys was his friend.
Mm.
James Byrd Jr. was not letting racism live rent free in his head. He was trusting. But see, one of them white boys, one of the racist white boys, still was able to convince the other two that wasn't racist, even James Byrd Jr.'s friend, to set him up, bind him by his hand behind his back, and drag him around town like he was a box or a baseball tied to his truck. Dragging around his head, hitting curves. They having fun. Just a human body. He wasn't thinking about racism. Racism wasn't living rent-free in his head. But guess what it did? Aha, got you. Don't you know you in America, boy? That's our existence. So don't ever get mad if we do let it live rent-free in our head, because when we try to believe that it ain't around, it is there. When we voting, when we trying to get jobs, even when we just trying to jog in the neighborhood or look at a house to see maybe how it's being structured from the foundation up. You know, Toya brought up what's that movie? The Mississippi Burning. And it was funny she brought that up because I was gonna bring that up. And Curtis said something too about proving racism. And that's a good topic, man, because you know when you have a lawsuit for discrimination or racism, you go to the EEOC, you have to prove it. You might have good proof, but it still ain't enough for them to say, well, you can't prove that's racism, because some white people can still deny it. You can't prove it. I ain't got it in writing. You didn't hear me say it. You don't have it recorded. You got me on video. So you got to have undeniable proof, even though the numbers might show it, the numbers might prove all these people that were qualified to get this job, they got the job and got fired, but then somebody else that was not qualified got this job and he been missing days and laying out and ain't never been written up in his life. You ain't got no way to really prove that that's still racism. They could come up with any other reason to say why they kept this man on this job, but deep down inside, they didn't want to work with no black people, but they didn't want to get fined. And then so I always thought about it. I don't have to go to Mississippi Burning. I can go to Emmett Till, because you asked the question, would you want to take racism to trial? It would depend on where you were. But when I was young, when I first encountered racism, I always wondered what it would be like. You know, somebody mentioned that movie Data the other day in the glasses. I always wondered what it would be like if we were fitted with contacts. And with these contacts, we didn't see no color. We just saw faces, and everybody was the same color. You know how many trials would be prosecuted fairly? You know how many people wouldn't be in jail that were innocent? You know how long Ahmaud Arbery might have lived? You know, Emmett Till might have got justice. But the eyes made those people choose to ignore justice and allow this little boy's killers to get away and then come back and confess it in a magazine later on. The whole
Exactly.
town
Wow.
know he did it. So
Mm-hmm.
they chose to allow him to get away with this, them to get away with this barbaric savage act on another human child. And so I mean to be honest with you, it may end up happening one day that human evolution may get to the point where our eyes might not even be able to see the hues of a human anymore, because there's things that exist right now that our eyes can't see.
Mm-hmm.
What's to say
Exactly.
that we won't evolve to that point where when we see people, we only see one color. We all sort of become colorblind.
Mm-hmm.
Then it
Wow.
gets to a point where you have fair trials. You don't have all these judgments that your eyes put on you, and the system will actually dissolve then,
Mm-hmm. Good deal.
based on
Bad
color.
you you wanted to come out to Rico?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So I was sitting here thinking and listening to everything, and one of the things I want to make sure everyone understands is I'm trying to share the perspectives that are shared with me because of the environments I'm in. As some of y'all have told me before, I can pass for white even though I'm a mixed blood
Mm-hmm.
because of my skin color. So I get to be around a lot of these conversations that a lot of people aren't as privileged to be in.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the that's why I keep bringing up the mental side of it, because like I've shared with y'all before how I was taught as a child that because I was poor and white, I had less privilege, less
Mm-hmm.
opportunities. So if you take that mentality, and a lot of white people I know were taught the same mentality, they're going to have issues when it comes to hearing about that is such a
Reparations.
hard word. Thank you.
Reparations. Reparations.
Repar-
Uh-huh.
because they're going to view it as, oh, we already don't have any privileges. They're going to get even more, which is going to make the taxes go up. It's going to make gas go up. It's going to make all this other stuff go up because, we're already paying Native Americans. So now we also got to pay black people too. Yes, they deserve it. Well, that's going to hurt our pockets even more. And we're already struggling. So there's a lot of animosity that's being taught that I keep bringing up, but it honestly feels like that none of that shit fucking try not to
Hey,
cuss. Sorry.
hey,
Sorry,
hey.
I caught myself. It a lot of
No,
people
you
think,
didn't. You didn't catch that.
"Hey, I caught it. I caught it. I caught it." A lot of them feel like, you know, they want to support, they want, all that stuff. But they're already struggling. How mentally they're having to unprogram something that is so prevalent in our communities, and to speak out against it is a threat to our lives. So not only that, you have to be careful where you work, you have to be careful who you speak up against, and all kinds of things. So it's literally like those of us that want to support y'all, excluding me, because I mean I'm on the disability check, and unless the government takes it from me, I'm going to speak out. You know, they're terrified. If they speak out, they're going to lose their jobs. Then how
Mm-hmm.
are they going to support their family? And
Mm-hmm.
then on top of that, the mentality that is taught to them from childhood, and some of us, we worked hard. We did our best to survive. We tried to get these better jobs and stuff. There was jobs that, mentally I was very good at, but because I didn't go to college or I couldn't function in college to get a degree, I saw black people that had degrees get hired over me. And I thought that was awesome. So I've seen that side of it, where there are some places that do that, but I've also seen the racist side of it. I know racism exists.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a white person go, "Oh, you're a black person. You're just wanting to work here so you can go be a drug dealer, they're in the streets, so we don't want to hire you just for, just because of that." you know, for racial profiling and all that junk. So I've seen both sides of the coin. I don't agree with the racism junk. You can't assume everyone is the same just because of their skin color. But the
Mm-hmm.
other thing I'm trying to bring up is don't think that all the white people are the same.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of us that are honestly confused because we're like, we want to fight with you,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't like all the stupid riots and the glass breaking and all that stuff. We want to see change. But then how do we implement change that benefits y'all and doesn't hurt us? So there's like all these questions that are going through their heads of um reprogramming, fighting for what's right, fighting for like respect and honor among all human beings, and all these things. When we're dealing with a corrupt system, that however they go about something is going to still continue to work to keep us separated. They're going to go, yes, we gave reparations to the black people because of the slavery stuff, but we're going
Mm-hmm.
to increase taxes so we can pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
How
Wow.
much is that going to hurt the low class people?
Mm-hmm. Leonard, what do you say to that, Leonard? Because at the end of the day, the right thing to do is the right thing to do. So how do you do it without it affecting you?
You just, it's not about who it affects. It's due.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's due, and you're gonna pay what you owe. It's not about your feelings being hurt. I've mentioned this several times before. The deeds are being done. It's not a punishment to people at all. It's a reparation.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. It's a reparation for wrongs that have been done by, excuse me, this government.
What I'm trying to say is it
Now, if there
most people
is,
feel like
but see,
Hold
that's the
on,
it's a
thing
Badger. Hold on.
about it.
punishment.
The
Hold
thing
on, Badger.
about that, this is the thing about it. It has nothing to do with how anyone feels.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna feel a certain way regardless. But what a foolish person does is sit around and consider millions of people's various feelings. Because there could be a million different feelings, thereby yielding no solution, no progress. Worried about how you may or may not feel about something you may or may not have internalized, that may or may not have been taught to you, that may or you didn't use all that when you did what you did. Black was enough for you to do what you did. So it's enough to correct.
Mm-hmm.
These issues like when we get in people's feelings. You know, I don't know nobody that enjoyed being accused of something that they did not do and went to prison.
Yeah.
I don't know, but nobody feels good about that.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll never feel good about that because it's not anything to feel good about. Guess
Mm-hmm.
what? You always ain't gonna feel good.
Yeah.
And into every life, some rain must fall.
Mm-hmm.
Negroes are soaking wet.
Mm.
We're not gonna have no conversation about how it may hurt somebody's day. They may feel bad today because of reparations. That's not a consideration in a
Mm-hmm.
reparations argument. If there's an argument at all. If there's an
Mm-hmm.
argument at all. Because one, we have to get to the point where we're about progress. Who gets hurt? Who? When
Mm-hmm.
did somebody mention somebody being hurt? How did that, where did that come from? Who are we trying to hurt by repairing the damage done? All we want is equality. Ain't
Mm-hmm.
nobody trying to hurt nobody. That's the thing about it. You're righting a wrong. You were wrong. Now it's time to right that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a how Raheem feels about it, because there are other African Americans who don't feel that reparations are due or what. But you know what? They're gonna be in line for them checks. They're gonna make sure
Come
you
on.
got their account number for them direct deposits if they should ever drop. So miss me with that too.
Mm-hmm.
The reparations
Mm-hmm.
ain't dependent on whether or not I've been a success or not. Do Oprah need any more money?
Mm.
No. But if she wants to give hers back, let her.
Yeah.
But she's entitled to it because she's the descendant of a slave.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Linda, public citizen have a question for you. Go ahead, public
Yes,
citizen.
sir.
Okay, so my question is, I had a conversation with a lady, a black lady who identifies as ADOS. Well, when I say I had a conversation, I had months and months of conversations, and well, she's quite racist. She's quite racist against anyone who's not black.
Right.
And I was trying to, I mean, and proud of it really. Um, I was trying to, I was trying to get her to see my point of view. And I know that from my research, reparations is very unpopular. You know, I've seen statistics anywhere from 60 to 70% of Americans are against it. Um, so I was trying to say, you know, since this idea it's definitely it's 100%. It should have been done a long time ago, right? But
Mm-hmm.
since it doesn't seem like it's politically feasible right now, I mean, you look at how this system is kind of rigged against common people. I said, you know, would you be in favor of having, you know, just progressive policies that benefit, like what Badger's saying, working class, poor, white, you know, blacks, Asians, whoever, you know, things like universal health care, things like free college or affordable college, affordable housing, you know, all this stuff. And she was like, no. She said, no, I want a check right now from the U.S. government that is like, she had some a colossal number, like 60 trillion, or it was a huge number. And this is a very well educated, you know, woman. She has a master's degree. She knows history. She knows all this stuff. She's no dummy. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that her point of view is like just so out of the mainstream. You know, when you have an idea that's so unpopular, and you have progressives coming to you and saying, you know what, I see your community has been dumped on. Okay, you need justice, and I'm saying as a progressive, I have some policies that will help your community, Badger's community, my community, everybody's community, and you're saying no. What is the logic of that?
The logic
Mm-hmm.
of that is because that is not what reparations is for. Why should reparations excludes white people? It excludes Asian Americans because it is supposed to. It is a reparation for the descendants of enslaved people in the United States of America. In no part are what should white people be competing for reparations. That's what she meant. Now, I do not agree with what you mentioned about her. I mean, that's far fetched for me. She may not just maybe one of those black people that really hate white people. I don't know, because we have a lot of them as well. So that just may be her thing. She just may be anti-white or whatever. But the thing about it is not to get her to see your point of view. Reparations is not a point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Reparations deals with an incident that occurred, an
Mm-hmm.
inhumane incident that occurred.
Exactly.
It's not free housing or anything like that because you poor. No, that's not what reparations for. The rich descendants of slaves are entitled to reparations, regardless of how much they have or how popular they are. I don't care if they got millions and millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
They're still entitled to reparations for slavery.
And whatever happened to 40 acres and a mule? Whatever happened to that? That's when you talk about reparations. That was a
Thank
part of it.
you.
40 acres and a mule. If had they just made good on that part, we wouldn't be
They
having this conversation. What do
insured
you think about
white
it?
folks for losing slaves. They didn't insure
Mhm.
black folks and give black folks nothing.
Yeah, exactly,
But
exactly,
they
absolutely.
insured the white folks that enslaved them.
Mm-hmm.
But now
Wow.
the argument is reparations should be for everybody. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Did they enslave everybody? Did they destroy everybody's families?
No.
Did they rape, steal, sell their children, and do all those things to all these other families? No, they did not.
40 acres and a mule. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Let me go to Mary. Mary, do you think reparations, do you think it's a wise thing? Do you think it'll ever happen? Do you think it's something that should happen? We got some background noise from somebody line. Everybody reach your line for me. Yes, okay, appreciate that. Mary, what do you say to that? Mary? Mary, wake up and go to sleep. Rico, you have something to say, brother?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to it just not being one solution again, because it affected us in more than just one aspect. See, that reparation is about repairing everything that caused our predicament that we're in now. And then you brought up that 40 acres and a mule, and I'm glad you brought that up, because even then it was found justified that reparations would do. Now all of a sudden, it's a problem.
Thank you.
Back then, it wasn't a problem. It wasn't a problem for the Japanese. It wasn't a problem for the Jews. Look, we stuck our nose in that business and didn't have nothing to do with it. But then here it is, we in our court system. Germans pay the Jews 50 years later. But we still just trying to get it from 400 years and still the process that exists today. But there it is again, you know, we do have to admit, because what I might say is unpopular. We need not only money, but we need the free college too. Because some people going to actually go out there and blow that money. You know what I'm saying? There's some people out here that's not too good with money. They like to blow it. They got children. They don't care. Them children going to still be in the same shape. The PPP loan just showed that, and all this other money that people got in the past couple of years. People never had cars before, still didn't go get cars. They partied. They had a good old time. The same thing a lot of people been doing since integration is having a good old time. So, you know, we have to be cognizant of the fact that, you know, that reparation thing isn't just going to be monetary, but I don't really know if people paid attention to what Badger said and what Public Citizen said. But the things they said is really the reason why racism still exists. Now, they said that they are non-racist, but they fear that if the reparations come out, they're going to lose.
All of us.
But see,
I'm not going to lose.
But see, the thing is, if that's the fear and you keep voting for the people and supporting the people that's against it, that also implement racist activities or ideologies, believe in racism, then you're still supporting it. And why are you still supporting it? Because if you don't, you're going to lose. If you stand up against it, you're going to lose your job. And guess what? It's some black people don't say nothing at their jobs too, because they don't want to get fired. It ain't another job you can get. No, don't stand up and let them fire you for standing up for what's right and go get you another job, because you have now believed that this job is everything in the world to you and you don't want to get fired. So you ain't going to say nothing about the racism that you see going on or the sexual discrimination that goes on. You ain't going to say nothing because you don't want to lose your job. You don't want to lose your benefits. See, even non-racist white people are entitled because they are white. That entitlement and that privilege is the reason why it also exists amongst white people that don't believe in it, because they know. Listen, it was poor white people during the labor unions that stopped being in favor of the Democratic parties, of whichever party supported labor unions, and went with the conservatives, went to the corporations, the industrialists, and the elites that were mostly racist and exclusive, and started voting for them because they believed the propaganda that these black folks going to come in here and start making money you making and living in your neighborhood and dating your daughters. You're going to have some little chocolatey babies coming around in your neighborhood. They're going to take your job. Matter of fact, they're going to fire you. Well, they ain't going to fire. They're going to get hired before you. They're going to, like I said, they're going to take your job. But then here goes affirmative action. Affirmative action was needed for a reason. If racism didn't exist, there wouldn't have been a need for affirmative action.
Thank you.
But then people still want to say, well, I don't like that affirmative action. Well, stop liking racism then. Renounce your benefits and how you gain from that. You know, like everybody has been saying, they gave people land. Then all of a sudden, we still didn't get nothing. My ancestors, then we came from the bottom. We just really started seeing any kind of progress for real or anything close to equality in the past 60 years.
Yeah.
And we still have a problem in the judicial system. So, I mean, this trauma, you know, some people gonna say, I ain't traumatized. I am. I'm traumatized because I can't live rent-free without George Floyd being in my head. George Floyd is in my head rent-free. Emmett Till is in my head rent-free. Ahmaud Arbery is in my head rent-free. Edward Steiner Jr. is in my head rent-free. Medgar Evers is in my head rent-free. And he probably ain't nowhere, nobody, no white person's head.
And even back in the day, Rodney King, you know, the beating that he took, even back in the day, that's one of the first videos that was actually surfaced like that was Rodney King. And
they
you
don't
know
have to
what
worry
happened.
about that.
Yeah.
They don't have to worry about that at all. I seen a white girl put a video up one day showing how many violations she had in one traffic stop. 7 violations that she knew the first one would have got her thrown in jail if she was black. And she got away from that policeman. She said, you know what? I'm privileged. I know this man just let me off and treated me like I ain't been doing nothing wrong when everything I got in here is illegal. I ain't even supposed to be driving. This man let me drive home with my drugs.
Yep. Wow. Let me go to Curtis, then we'll go to Toya with a T, and we're gonna make our way around. We got our 7 minutes, so everybody give me your quick version. Kurt, what's on your heart, brother?
Everything Rico just said is what I was just thinking. First off, it's laughable that we don't even take the time to acknowledge that reparations has been paid. Oh, we real solid now.
Nah, because I'm trying to figure out when you said I was hoping you was gonna come
paid to other people.
Paid to who?
What you mean? The compromise of what was it, 1833? No, let me bring it forward. The compromise of 1873, I want to say it is. The white slave owners were paid reparations. That's true. That's in recorded history fact. They were paid reparations. The slave legislator went to the federal government and said, look here, if you are going to demolish slavery, we must be paid. If you do not want us to secede again, we must be paid because you have taken away our economic base. I want to say it's the passing of the compromise of 1873. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on it. They went to the federal government and said we should be paid because we can no longer have slaves, which means our economic base is hurt, and they received reparations. The only people who have received reparations is those
Thank you.
who are fighting against reparations. Y'all don't see that. It's old street tactic, man, when you're selling drugs. You know what I mean? It's like, it's called pimping. It's called pimping. They pimped the government out of money. They was pimping the people before the government came in 1865 and we had the Civil War. They was pimping the people already then because they was getting slave labor for free. They was getting labor for free. So they had no overhead. From an economic standpoint, they had no overhead to run a business. They had no overhead whatsoever. What overhead they had was overhead that would actually feed right back into their business. So in reality, they had no overhead whatsoever. You got slaves killing the cows, killing the pigs, killing the chickens, raising the cows, raising the pigs, raising the chickens. You got slaves growing the crops, pulling the crops, putting the crops on the table, taking the crops down to the grocery store, selling the crops. You didn't have to pay them for none of that. So everything,
and no death and computers and
exactly, everything that you had going on was feeding economically. It was feeding into your total existence and your wealth. Then on top of that, you had a larger percentage of the land. You had, if not a larger percentage, all the land, right? That was passed down for you since 1776. It's called intergenerational wealth. I can't pass you money, but I can pass you this little X that I had somebody put on this paper. I can pass you that, and then you can take it from being 100 acres to 200 acres, and your grandson can take it from 200 acres to 300 acres. So now, when you deal with that and that alone, the intergenerational wealth, then you come up to the slave movement, where everything that you did that had any kind of economic base was fueled, bred, and pushed by the people that you did not pay to do it. If they died, you just shuck them to the side, dug a hole, and threw them in it.
Wow.
So
Wow.
you
And
didn't
I
have
think
to
you're
pay-
referring
you
to
didn't have to pay
1877,
for-
Kurt.
You didn't have to pay for old man Johnny to come down there and dress them up and put them in regalia and bury them properly. You didn't even have to pay for that.
Wow. Let me
Right?
man,
And some of the slaves that they don't talk about that I've read in
3
this
minutes.
book called Bullwhip Days, some of us need to read it.
Good. 3
You
minutes.
know some of the slaves that died, guess what they would
Kurt,
do, Raheem?
I got 3 minutes, bro. I got them. I'm trying to pull some more people in. Finish your thought for me.
I'm done, man. I'm done.
No, because like no. You going somewhere, but I want you to finish it up for me though. You going somewhere? Go ahead.
All I'm saying is, it's time we stop. It's time we stop supporting and selling the ideology of stupidity. It's time we stop being self-perpetuated racist and call it what it is. Tell the truth. Now, citizens, he's a teacher. I'd like for him to tell me where can he truly say that there's been critical race theory taught in any school in the United States of America. Any K through 12 school. It ain't. It's legal jargon.
Exactly. Let me go. Leonard. I think Leonard's here. You gotta go. Leonard, he just left. Okay. I'm gonna try to catch him before he got out of here. Let me see. Public citizen, you want to quickly address what he said?
Okay. Well, that's a huge topic. I don't know if I can give a quick thing on that. I think okay. I'll try to give a quick one. You know, there are activist teachers, and you know, I think I used to be more activist with my anti-racist rhetoric in the classroom, but I realized that my rhetoric didn't always have good results. So I've kind of toned it back a little bit. You know, like I said before, these topics are really emotional. You know, I get emotional talking about them. So imagine a child, you know, white child, black child, any child hearing about these atrocities. It's going to have an effect. So, you know, that we can get into that another day. But I just like to say, I agree. You know, I think we mostly agree here. We disagree on some small. I think small things. I think we agree on the big issues, and that's what's important. And I appreciate you, Raheem. I really do. You are a very good host. I have to call that out.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Thank you, man. To God be the glory. To God be the glory, man. It's tough sometimes, brother, but I definitely appreciate that. Rico, what's going on at 3 o'clock today, sir?
Trying to get off mute, man. I don't want to get stuck like that. If you missed today's broadcast and would like to see it or hear it in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at www.dklmediagroup.com.
Good deal. Good deal. I'm trying to catch up with Toya real quickly. I know she's Toya, are you able to pray us out, sis? I think she said she's out in she's transition right now. She might not be able to do it. So we might have to go to Rico to pray us out today. You're gonna see his quick prayer. Rico, pray us out, brother.
Jesus wept and peace on earth. Amen.
There you go. Hey, that's what it is. Listen, it's been a great broadcast, man. We got a lot of different things that we need to catch up on and continue this. We may continue this into tomorrow as well. Some of the stuff we talked about today, because there was so much out there, man. So much that we need to continue to cover. Our topic today was supposed to be, and I think we actually did it without going into it. Are we listening? Do we really listen to each other today? Did we get anything from what was said today? Are we able to walk away from something that somebody else said and just kind of think about it? Man, it might have been some truth in what Rico said. Man, Badger might have said something there. Oh man, Leonard said, oh, Toya with a T, she definitely said something. And so are we really listening to each other? Are we listening? Are we listening just to listen and to grow, or are we listening just so we can have a rebuttal to what that other person just said? Is listening is a powerful thing. And what a wise man said one time before. He said, we have two ears and one mouth for a reason. We got two ears. We only got one mouth. Use your ears. Listen. And don't just listen to speak. Listen to grow. Listen so that you can grow, and we can all grow together. That's what it should be all about right there. Not just listen. Okay, okay. He said something. I know how to get back in. I know. No. Take time, listen, and absorb what was said to you before you respond. If you have to respond, at least absorb what was said to you. Absorb it. Eat the meat, spit out the bone. There may be something that you may be missing just because you're not listening properly. Because you're not listening properly. What I say? Relate and exactly. Relate and understand. It is now 10:03. I want to thank everybody for joining us. More than that, I want to thank you for allowing DK Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your day. It is 10:03. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us, because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug, because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you. And ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other. And please, please be blessed.